My name is Angelica Espinoza, and I will be going over becoming parents. Some of the factors to consider when becoming a parent is how becoming a parent will affect a couple's relationship. For example, in a questionnaire handed out in 2008 to high school students, 70% of the boys concluded that having a child was going to make them adults. And 60% of females decided that having a child would make them adults. And this would also give them a sense of personal identity. Also, having a child creates a sense of commitment and meaning in couples, as well as stabilization. However, as Lamina, Raymond, and Stewart explain, a stable marriage is not necessarily a happy one. Also, they explain that having more children leads to less marital satisfaction as well as less psychological well-being. So, for example, Kaiser and Schenck in 2012 studied how having children affected a couple, and they concluded that women are generally less satisfied than their male husbands because the breadwinners spend more time outside of the home. And this is a conclusion that was made by Lamina, Raymond, and Stewart. Also, the Kaiser and Schenck study discovered that men are less satisfied because women spend all of their energy taking care of their children as well as their house, and this becomes the second child that Lamina, Raymond, and Stewart talk about. Also, it affects a couple's psychological well-being because it interrupts sleep and work schedules as well as any free time that the couple might have. Other things to consider is the cost of having a child. So Lamina, Raymond, and Stewart explain that parents psychologically exaggerate to themselves the joys of parenthood in order to emotionally counter the costs. So having a child is a very heavily cost financially, and the authors of the textbook explain that sometimes this cost rises faster than the income that the couple is bringing home. And they even explain that in low-income families, having a child is about a third of the household budget. And some of these costs are because of housing or transportation, education, childcare when the parent returns to work, as well as buying food or clothes or health care if they are paying for that. Also, some of the costs are, as we discussed before, are on the satisfaction of a man's life or a woman's career advancement. A lot of the times, women have to hide their pregnancies in order to maintain their safety of their jobs, or they have to hold their any career advancements or educational advancements that they are wishing to pursue. So according to the USDA, the cost of raising a child in 2015 was $233,610, and 18% of this cost was for food, 29% of this was for housing, 15% was transportation, 9% of this was health care, 6% was clothing, and 16% was child care and education. The other 7% went on to miscellaneous categories. Some of the changing trends are in couples. Today, we are seeing more married couples, both homosexual and heterosexual, so same-sex couples and different sex couples, as well as unmarried couples deciding to have children. Other changing trends are in the form of conception, 7% of all children come from adoptions, and 40% of all births are from multi-partner fertility, and these are mostly due to death and divorce, that you're seeing different parents in the children. More trends that are changing are when we are deciding to have children. Late teens are having children because sexual behavior is becoming liberalized. Individuals in their early 20s are deciding to have children because this ensures physical health as well as being a youthful parent. However, some parents are deciding to wait until later because it will increase their personal development, so they won't have to set aside any of their future goals in order to have children because they are waiting until they accomplish those goals. Also, according to a study by Wilkie in 1981, individuals with better education are delaying parenthood. So they explained that in high school dropouts, less than 5% of them are becoming parents at 25 years or older, and from college graduates, 80% of those are 25 years and older, and 20% of those college graduates are deciding to become parents when they are 30 years or older. As you can see in this chart by the NCHS data brief, a lot of parents that are first-time parents under the age of 20 in 2000, that only made up 23% of the parents. And in 2014, we can see a decline, and it is now 13.4%. Also, if we go to the sort of middle, from 25 to 29, the percentage increased of parents in this category, and in 35 years or older, it also increased. So we see a decrease in under 20 that are becoming first-time parents, and from 20 to 24 and on, we can either see it be stable or increasing as time goes on. Another changing trend is deciding not to have children altogether. The textbook of the class explains that in 1990, 30% of individuals decided that children were not an important factor of having a satisfactory marriage. But in 2007, that increased to 59% choosing not to have children because it was not important to their marriage. Also in 2014, we saw 15% of individuals from the ages of 44 to 49 years old not having children at all. Deciding not to have children is most common in whites, and it's also a factor of abortion. So the authors decided that 30% of all Americans will have an abortion at one point in their life. Some of the reasons for an abortion are responsibilities, or career advancements, or the cost of having a child, or being non-married, or simply not ready to have a child. Some of the advantages in the 21st century for becoming a parent or parenting already is that the family structure is expanding and becoming more accepting. Also, fathers are becoming more involved. They are being encouraged in attending more appointments with their significant others or children, and also being in the room while their child is being born. Also, there are a lot of technological advantages. For example, we can use social media for communication and engagement, but there's also fertility advantages and advancements that are allowing people to become parents who would not be able to otherwise. Also, there are higher educational levels, and with this, It's an advantage because there are classes being offered either on campus or online that will increase the parents' knowledge about their child's development or any techniques regarding child raising. Some of the challenges for 21st century parents is also technology because it interferes with interpersonal connections. Also, because we live in a fast-paced society, we are not able to spend as much time with our families. Also, children are resilient and can adapt and recover. Lamina, Riedman, and Stewart explain that this is important because parents will make mistakes. However, their children will adapt.